welcome back to PopCultX, your go-to for all things pop culture from our Gen X, not yours, well maybe yours, from our Gen X point of view. My name is Danny, and along with Gabriel, we're here to tell you all of our thoughts and perspectives and all things that are going down in the world of pop culture, movies, film, music, TV shows, reality shows, and anything under that pop culture umbrella. So, Gabe, how are you this week?
Doing pretty good. Just been watching some television, listening to some music, just hanging out. How about you?
Same, I guess. Hanging out. I've been really and we've had this debate before about binge watching versus episodic, and I've been really falling under the binge watching scope recently. So which is contrary to what I've talked about before, because I like the episodic approach.
Yeah.
But with the release of the show Echo on Disney Plus, they released them all at once, and other shows that were previous released that I was behind on, I finally got the chance to watch, like Succession. I binge watched all four seasons of those,
Oh,
and
nice.
then and it was great. It was such a, and I think I talked about this a little bit last time. It was such fantastic writing and acting that I didn't want it to end,
Yeah.
and it did end obviously after season four. But it was just, I don't know if I liked the ending or not. And let me just explain a little bit. So after each of the episodes, they usually have some, well, either the director, producer, maybe one of the actors talk a little bit about the episode. So at the season series finale, they had the executive producer and the director talk about the show. And the director or writer mentioned that really the show, he always thought it was a tragedy, right? So it was always waiting for that final shoe to drop.
Mhm.
And that's what they did in the season series finale. And I don't want to give any spoilers away, but I wasn't happy with that. It's not like I wanted a, Disney ending or a happy ending, but it was just, it rubbed me kind of the wrong way with how it ended. But, that's the tragedy part of it. So
Yeah.
I guess it kind of had to end that way to make it, to fulfill that tragedy arc and type genre, I guess.
Yeah. I am interested. I definitely have to watch that. That's on my list of things that I have to catch up on, that I've got some backpedaling to do to catch up.
Yeah, it's worth it. It really is. I mean, some of the episodes are longer than the others, and I think the final series finale was like an hour and a half, so it was almost like a movie.
Mhm.
But it didn't feel like it. It really had the great pacing to it, where you weren't just like, oh, just get it over with. This is dragging. It really was well done.
Nice. Very cool. So I've been watching a reality show. I think I mentioned it last week, the Traitors US. Still watching it. They release one episode at a time, so I
Oh, hold
can't
on, hold on.
watch it.
You said the Traitors US. What does that
Yeah.
mean?
So there's like a UK version, there's an Australian version.
Oh,
So I'm watching the US version. The UK version actually just ended. They had their finale, so I'm watching the US version, which is filmed in Scotland, which is kind of weird. But all the cast are all American actors, or
got
we
it.
have,
Okay.
so it's been getting really good. We you're not watching the show, but some really cool things have happened on the show where they finally have found out who one of the traitors is and got them out. It was very dramatic. Uh, so there was sort of like a battle between the guy who was a traitor and another one of their traitors. One traitor being a former winner of Big Brother, the other one being a Real Housewife of Atlanta cast member. And so you had these two people kind of going head to head on this reality show, which was kind of interesting to see, this battle of like wits going on between, strategy kind of a person who uses strategy in Big Brother versus someone who's just a housewife, but is uses strategy in a different way or in a different context. So it was really fun to watch. Yeah, I'm kind of waiting for the next episode to come out because it's got me hooked. It's really good.
Yeah, and I have watched a few episodes of it, so I know who you're talking about when you mentioned the Traitors. So they got rid of the gentleman.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah, he was kind of I guess people were already picking up on him because he was very quiet and didn't
Yeah.
talk to many people. So interesting. Okay, cool.
His strategy wasn't the best going on to the show, and I think they really caught up. They caught on to it right away, and it was hard for him to shake the suspicion of everyone else. And they finally caught him. They did it in a very creative way. I'll let you watch it if you're going to watch the show, but they did it in a very creative way. They kind of caught him in a trap, and
Ooh.
he couldn't talk his way out of it.
That's perfect. That's awesome. Yeah, I'll have to watch that episode. It's interesting. I mean, I like the concept of it. So it is a reality show featuring reality stars,
Yeah.
and it's maybe not in my wheelhouse, but I like the concept of, who almost like a whodunit in a way.
Yeah, it's very
Cool.
cool. It is very much like a whodunit, and um, it's sort of like a live, as people are getting, quote, killed, they're disappearing, and I don't know, it's find it just kind of interesting to watch the whole dynamic of those people trying to pin it on who the traitor is or who the traitors are. It's fun.
Very cool. Any other shows or reality shows you've been watching? Anything like that?
As far as reality shows, like I've been kind of involved in the reality drama of Nicki Minaj versus Megan
Uh,
Thee Stallion. Megan Thee Stallion, for people who don't know, released a track called "Hiss" a little bit ago, and in it she has a line that people are saying refer to Nicki Minaj's husband. He is allegedly, I don't know if I mean, I don't really know that much about him or but I believe he's a sex offender. And he has to register under Megan's law, and Megan the Stallion's lyric says something about being bothered by Megan's law, so it obviously is referring to Nicki Minaj's husband. Nicki Minaj just went off, did like live streaming, Twitter, came back with her own track called Bigfoot. It's kind of interesting because Nicki Minaj is sort of like the queen of hip hop. You would assume that she'd be the winner. She's had beefs with like Cardi B, Little Kim, Remy Ma, and she sort of has kept domination over those other women. But it looks like right now everyone is sort of Team Meg, and everyone is kind of saying that Nicki Minaj had some low blows. She talks about Megan Thee Stallion's dead mom.
oh,
She talks
jeez.
about her getting shot in the foot. About her not being a good rapper. And outside of her initial track, Hiss, Megan has been quiet since it's dropped. So it's sort of like she hit hard and then she kind of backed away and let the damage happen. But it's really interesting because we've seen beef between people before in hip hop. Like I said, Nicki Minaj herself has had beef with a lot of other female rappers, but famously Tupac and Notorious B.I.G. had beef. Um, it's sort of interesting to see people take sides, and I'm not really I like I said, I'm sort of in on Team Meg as well, but I've been listening to Nicki Minaj's new album. It's a really good album. It hasn't prevented me from listening to her album.
Hmm.
uh, but I don't really like, I'm not that big of a fan that I'm going to say like, oh, I'm going to stop listening to one or the other. She definitely did take some low blows. Nicki Minaj did, and it does kind of change my opinion about her, but her catalog is so vast and she has so many good hits that I really don't think that I'm gonna expunge her from my music catalog. I probably will still listen to her. I'm not gonna like fully R. Kelly her out of like my life.
Yeah.
Uh, but I don't know. It's funny. It's interesting that you have two people that are very successful, are beautiful women, have money, success, power, and they're still arguing over who's the better rap queen. And it's like, just enjoy your life. Like, why are you bickering over something so stupid? But maybe that's just me, that I think that they should just be enjoying their life instead of fighting over who's the best, who has the best bars, who looks the best, who sounds the best, whatever.
It's interesting, I think, in that they are back to the diss tracks in their songs as opposed
Yeah.
to just using Twitter or some other social media platform to get their points across. And I think that that reminds me of, like you said, Biggie, Tupac, and all the beef that was gone back and forth in their albums, and where it was more of a, a statement piece, maybe because Twitter didn't exist back then
Yeah.
or social media didn't really exist back then, and that's why we didn't have those battles going on in that platform. But
Mhm.
it's really cool to see them, I guess, throw back to the diss track in a way.
Yeah.
Not that I want them to have beef, not like you said. I would like everyone just to support each other, enjoy their life, make good
Yeah.
music. You don't have to um, stoop to that level or whatnot. But I thought if they're gonna do it, at least they're doing it in music.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I want to say Nicki Minaj and Cardi B like came into fisticuffs, or at least Nicki Minaj's security may have hit Cardi B, resulting in like a big like goose
Oh
egg on her
wow.
forehead. That was, I think that was at the Met Gala or something of that to that caliber of like a
Oh, a high profile event then. Wow.
yeah, high profile event. And so it has gotten, apparently physical. I think that I want to say Cardi B threw a shoe or a heel at Nicki Minaj, and that's how she ended up getting hit. I don't know. Yeah, I hope it doesn't escalate further. They did, which is kind of odd, but Nicki Minaj's fans are very famous. They're sort of like the Beehive with Beyonce. They're called the Barbs. Um, they kind of take things to a certain level. And so they had to actually put security on Megan Thee Stallion's mom's headstone at the
Whoa.
cemetery because they thought people
Wow.
would be doing stuff to it
Oh my
on
goodness.
Nicki's behalf, which I think is kind of crazy that someone that you're not involved with, you don't personally know. I know you get ingrained in their life because of their music, but you don't really know them. They don't
Hmm.
know you, and that you
Hmm.
would stoop down to like criminal activity and defacing someone's mom's headstone is just crazy to me. It's like it takes fandom to like a whole new level of depravity. It's just crazy that someone would be that big of a fan, that they would do type of that type of stuff. So like you said,
Wow.
hopefully they just stick to the tracks, the music, kind of get their shots in that way. And they make good music and they can just kind of focus on that instead of it turning into something a lot uglier.
Yeah, definitely. And that's wow. Fans need to relax. My goodness.
Oh, for sure.
That's crazy. Well, speaking of beef, and you're gonna like this segue
Yeah.
because it goes from the beef we have between them to beef sandwiches in the original Beef of Chicagoland, which of course is the fictitious restaurant in the show The Bear, which we spoke about a little bit last week, and that we both needed to start watching it. Like I said, been binging, watched both seasons, and
Oh,
if you
nice.
haven't watched them yet, you're missing out.
Oh,
Truly.
it's good.
Yes, it's very good. It's at first I couldn't really get into it because it was, like you said, intense. It was loud. But then I started thinking, you know what? This is kind of like, how do I put it? It's kind of like punk rock music as a TV show, right?
Mhm.
So it's loud, it's in your face, and it wants you to feel uncomfortable on purpose,
Hmm.
right? So it was once I started, wrapping my head around that kind of that's what it's doing, it really sucked me in. And the actors in it are just fantastic. I mean, what Jeremy Allen White, Eben Moss, I think his name Backrack, Io Edebiri. They are just, I guess, they're the three leads. They are just fantastic, and it's just I can't. I watched. There's two seasons. I watched both of them, and in the second season, I don't want to give away too much, but I just want to say they have a back-to-back episodes. I think one is called Fishes and one is called Forks, and the Fishes episode is kind of like their Christmas episode,
Mm.
and it is a chaotic, beautiful masterpiece. I mean, it's just full of guest stars like John Mulaney's in it. What's her name? Hold on. Let me look it up because I just forgot. I just blanked on it. So John Mulaney's in it. Oliver Platt's also in it. Jamie Lee Curtis is in it.
Oh
Bob
wow.
Odenkirk, Sarah Paulson. Of course, John Berthnall is in it as well, and some of the usual cast is in it as well. But just it's like I guess you call it like an elevator scene. So it takes place in one house on one night, and it's just the craziness and chaos that happens around that family. And if you don't want to watch the whole show, go watch the fishes episode, and that will give you a good idea of that chaos and how beautiful it can be.
Oh yeah. I did hear about that episode because of Jamie Lee Curtis. I want to say she was nominated for an Emmy before that, right?
I think she might have been. I don't know,
Yeah, I
but
think so.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I'll have to check it out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really worth it. And then the next episode is called Forks, and it takes us on the character Richie, played by Iban, um, and his character development from the beginning of the episode to the end, and the transformation that takes place for him in that episode is also really what's the right word? So you really feel for the character because his life's a mess, but then he gets sent to this high fancy restaurant to be an intern in a way and to learn underneath those waiters there. And he thought he's being punished, but come the end of the episode, he realizes that it's for his own betterment and it's making him a better person. So
Oh
it's
wow.
it's it's really great. So go watch those two episodes back to back. Highly
Nice.
recommend
Will do. What else have you been watching or getting into?
it. In the non binge watching mode, I watched the Marvels finally.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and that was really fun. That was a fun ride. I don't know why it got so much bad slack in the fandom. Well, I guess I do know why,
Yeah.
because it's a female-led cast, right? So, but it was so much fun. It really was a great ride. I enjoyed it, and if you're a cat lover, you'll really like this movie.
That's
I'll
funny.
just say that.
Yeah, I think that people who are fans of the show or of previous um iterations of Captain Marvel 1
Mhm.
or the first movie, I should say, know what your character you're referring to with the
Yeah.
cat. So,
It's really fun. I like that. It was like, oh, that's so cool. I mean, it's really cool. I mean, yeah, if you haven't seen it, I think it comes out on Disney Plus on February 7th. So more people can watch it.
nice. Yeah, I can't wait to watch it. Does it have a post credits scene that kind of hint to any other future Marvel endeavors?
It does have a post-credit scene. Um, I will have to look it up if you want to know what that was because I don't remember it off the top of my head. But it does have it does. Oh, I remember now. Um, I believe the end of the movie, uh, I think someone tasks Miss Marvel, played by Iman Vellani, who's just terrific in the film as she was in her own show, with starting some new Avengers.
Mm,
So she contacts Kate Bishop.
nice.
And then the mid-credit scene, if I remember correctly, it was, I'm just going to give you a brief overview once I find it real quick. Um, the multiverse with the end of at the end of the movie, Monica Rambeau, Captain Rambeau, who we know as Spectrum, and that's a kind of a running joke in the whole movie that they can't come up with one of her own superhero name, and I guess that's a play on how she's gone through many variations
Yeah.
in the comic book universe, and they even say Spectrum, but she's like, no. She goes to a multiverse where she meets her someone from her past, but they don't know who she is.
Mm,
So I don't want to give away. I'll let you watch it on February 7th and you'll enjoy it. I think you'll
nice.
get a kick out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait to watch it. It's gonna be fun.
And you will definitely, because I just remembered who else shows up in that post credit scene, you will definitely get a kick out of it.
Yeah. I think I know what happens. I think I
Okay.
heard of it. And then as I was
Like
trying to remember, I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
X. So that's what's been keeping me busy since we last chatted. I've been playing a lot with Chat GPT. We spoke about Gen AI and generative AI as an art form, but I've been using it a lot to um, help me with formatting and brainstorming a lot of my writing ideas.
Nice.
So it's really cool because I tell it, okay, I want to create a character, then I give him all the traits or whatnot, and then it helps me format, what else do you want to do? So it's not really writing for me. It just helped me do like, a lot of a writing partner would do with character development. So it's been really fun. Have you been using any of that?
I briefly had a little fling uh
Bling.
with AI and was creating some images. I got really excited and like went through like 3 days worth of generating images, and then I ran out of um I guess credits. You can
Okay.
there's so many images that you can create, and then you have to like bump up to the next tier. The next tier was like ridiculously expensive for
Oh,
something that like I'm just playing around with.
hmm.
So it was fun. It was really interesting. I feel like I was getting some good images. Of I'm shocked by how well they're able to create images by your description that look photorealistic.
Yep.
It's insane to me that you can barely tell that it's not a photo, and it's like, does this person really exist? They look so real that like, did they steal someone's picture? Did they steal someone's persona? Like where, how, and like it's mind-boggling, like the stuff that it is able to create. So I know I have some friends that are like wholeheartedly against it. Like they're creators. They're like, no, if you want something, pay a creator to do it for you. I have, know some people that are like full on board with AI. Um, it was fun for the like few days that I was playing around with it, but I don't know if there's anything really that I could come up with that would be worthwhile for me to
Yeah.
pursue. Yeah. But
Yeah,
it's
I
fun,
hear you.
it's a fun like a fun toy for a couple days.
It's the shiny toy you get at Christmas, and 3 days
Yeah.
later, it's collecting dust in the
Check it.
corner.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I will say this though, since I started playing with Chat GPT, I see it now in everything. So like a lot of productivity tools on the internet that I see, like Zapier is just one where it's like that's a process tool that you can use to do tasks for you and automate stuff. But it's incorporating Chat GPT. So basically you could tell it what you want to accomplish, and then it will help create the steps for you.
Wow.
So it goes beyond, I think, at least for what I'm using it for, than the art realm and into more of the productivity realm. I also used it for our show in a way. So I kind of came up with like some topic ideas for future episodes and helped me develop those. So do I have to put a disclaimer on the show saying helped by ChatGPT?
I don't think so. I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
It's almost like I don't know. I really don't think it has to be taken to that level, but it's just a useful tool, I guess, for what you're using it for.
Absolutely. And that's what, as long as I see it as a tool and not a an artist, I guess,
Yeah,
I think I'll be okay.
yeah, for sure. Right on. So, is there anything that you're looking forward to watching or listening to?
Um Looking forward to season 3 of The Bear if they finally start production of it and get it, filmed. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to see where they're going with the story. It's been really exciting. I've been listening to the playlists that they have on Apple Music for The Bear because they
Oh,
have some really cool songs and they really drive home the point that they're making or the emotion of the scene. So they have the playlists on Apple Music for both season 1 and season 2. So I've been listening through those. Um, Things that I want to watch that are coming out. I don't even know what's coming out. So I just, as I see them, I'll watch them.
yeah. I think we're filming on Saturday night, so the Grammys are tomorrow, Sunday night.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to the Grammys. They always, not always, I should say, but a good chunk of the time. They typically have good performances
Hmm.
by current artists, and
They
I
always they always
yeah.
mash them up, right? Like they bring in two different genres and artists and mix them together, right?
Yeah, yeah. So they do. I don't know if they all like do that for every performance, but they'll do that kind of sprinkled or peppered throughout the
Okay.
show. So that's always kind of interesting. I think it's interesting to see how people dress for the Grammys. It's a little bit more like rock and roll versus like the Oscars. So people kind of tend to wear things that stick out a little bit more. They're a little bit more creative and outside of the box. And so yeah, I'm excited to watch them tomorrow. I'll be watching and seeing who wins. And yeah, I'm not a big fan of like saying this one song in particular is the best song or the best album. But it's just fun to watch. To people watch, listen to the performances. I do more of that than like really caring about who wins.
So if you watch this episode, I think it's going to be released Sunday before the Grammys. If you watch it then, Gabe will be live Instagramming his reactions.
Maybe.
Maybe. Well, that's cool. Yeah, maybe next episode we'll give you guys all our Grammy thoughts. And in the future episodes, we have a special guest who has a distinct perspective on films. Will be joining us for our Academy Awards special episode, where we're going to talk about maybe our projections or our thoughts on that. So look forward to that, you guys. So Gabe, unless you have anything else.
No.
Oh, well, everyone, thanks for joining us. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for liking, sharing, following. Be sure you tell all your friends to come watch us and make sure they do, even if you have to put toothpicks in their eyes. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and we'll see you guys next time.
Stay safe, everyone.